daily and weekly maintenance first. Okay, this is not anything that's all that complicated. I won't get into the year-end stuff. We can do that stuff later. Obviously, this is diesel fuel only. Fuel goes here. I did fill it up on the way, so you guys are good to go there.
Thank you.
Label it diesel fuel only.
We'll put another.
Small label there.
Another one.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah.
So
We'll
diesel
make our
fuel
own.
only for sure. Every grease point on this machine is very clearly marked as to how often you need to do it. All right. The weekly points for most of the bearings, you know, just a few pumps. You don't have to get too crazy with it. These 2 weekly points here. These are closed bearings. Okay. So there's a bearing in here, and there's a seal in here that holds that bearing in and holds the grease in. Okay. So if you're over pumping these, if your guys are up here and they're putting 10 pumps in the damn thing, it's going to push this plastic seal out. Okay, yep. So, you know, we're talking about 2 or 3 pumps every week. Okay,
weekly. What's that? 40 hours of operation, or
it's a rule of thumb to do it once a week, every Monday or every Friday, regardless of how many hours you've used it. Because who's going to keep track of those hours? You know, it's tough to keep track of that. At least if you have something on paper that says every Monday morning, this is what needs to happen. That's a better way to
just got a new chipper. They suggest greasing at lunchtime or end of the day after things have been moving, warmed up.
It doesn't much matter with this, you know. It depends on, you know, how your schedule is. But this doesn't. You know, the only fast-moving parts are really right here. And again, if you're just hitting those with a couple pumps of grease, I don't care about what time of day it is. So again, all your grease points are marked. There's no hidden points over here. You've just got the ends of the chain on both sides. Okay, and you've got these couple here. While we're right here, we may as well talk a little bit about the engine. There's not a whole lot to know about this. You know, you're checking your oil here. That's a daily thing you should be doing, just to make sure that, you know, your levels are good. You've got an inline fuel filter here. This is the only fuel filter on the machine. Okay, so if you have a problem with the engine throttling up and throttling down, which can happen, mulch is dusty and these will clog up. The tanks are metal, so you will end up getting some rust and some buildup in there eventually. Hopefully not this year, but down the road. So these filters, there's nothing special about it. You know, we sell them. Napa sells them. Okay, you can get this filter anywhere. It's not you know, anything special for Finn only.
So where are we filling the motor oil?
You're filling the motor oil right on the top here. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Right on the top.
Water fuel indicator.
This is a water fuel indicator. So if you've got water in your fuel, that light's going to come on. And there, I believe this petcock on the bottom is the drain for the water. Yep. Okay. And you've got a plunger on top here too. If you did run it dry from fuel, you can plunge this to get the system and then get the air out. That's right. All right. Hopefully you don't run it out of fuel. This engine is equipped with a couple of sensors. It's equipped with a high temperature shutdown as well as a low oil shutdown. So if your engine gets too hot, or the coolant, or I'm sorry, the oil gets too low, the sensor will tell the engine to shut off, so you're not going to blow anything up. Okay? If your engine's getting too hot, the reason it's getting hot is because it's not cooling properly.
It's the fins plugged in.
If it's not cooling properly, it's because you've allowed mulch to build up on top of the engine. Okay? So you want to take your backpack at lunchtime and make sure you keep the mulch off of the engine. The radiator, it's a little bit different than the 302 radiator that you're used to. The 302 radiator was always pulling in the air right here, right?
Pulls it out.
This one is going to be a push fan rather than a pull fan. So you're pushing all the air out this way. All right, so you're not so concerned with the mulch buildup here, but you will get a little bit back in here. So again, it's a good rule of thumb at lunchtime just to take the backpack and sort of blow.
So when it's November, we'll be glad to have that extra heat as we're shoveling off the truck and stuff.
If you're mulching in November, you will. Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Composting.
That's right. So just trying to keep the mulch off the engine, you know, that's a big deal for, you know, to allow this engine to cool as it's supposed to. It's a 12-volt system. There's nothing special there. The battery is not in a very opportune place. It is up underneath. It can be removed by getting underneath and pulling it out.
Nice.
If you need to jump the machine, you can jump it here. Okay, so you don't have to.
Right off the starter?
Just here and
you
there.
put it here and here, and that's it.
Yeah, or wherever. Yeah, exactly right. You don't have to climb under to open the battery case to jump it. But I've been under there myself and pulled the battery out, and it's not. You know, it's certainly doable, but
Can we relocate that battery?
it's right up underneath here. You can stand where I am and you can see it.
No, I'm saying relocate it.
Relocate it? Well, I mean, if you felt.
No, we're not fixing a brand new machine.
I don't think you need to. I mean, if I designed it, I'd probably put it here.
Yeah.
It might make a little more sense, but again, I'm not an engineer. There's a reason they put it there, I would hope. As far as the air, you got 2 air cleaners on this. This is your engine air cleaner. There's no reason to pull this out on a regular basis. This has a pre-cleaner on it, okay? So this is gonna, the air's gonna come in there, it's gonna turn, it's gonna spit out the mulch, okay, before it gets to the filter. It will eventually build up, okay, and you're meant to rely on your indicator. When that pops out and turns red, I'm gonna guess the color is, it's time to probably pull this filter out and replace it. They don't recommend sticking an air gun in these and trying to clean them out because you'll tear the filaments, okay? I don't mind, I don't mind you taking it and from a distance, just getting the bulk of the stuff off. That's okay. But this isn't going to realize a lot of bulk because you've got this pre-cleaner. This will more of just turn a beige black color. It's all the real fine stuff that will get in there. Okay, so this is more of a once-a-year thing. This is the guy that wants to come out every day. This is no different than the filter on your small blower. All your air is taken in here. So you're dumping mulch. The mulch is coming down. You know, it's just spilling it. Hopefully you're not spilling much, but when you're spilling mulch, the dust is pulling right up into here. Every day, I typically would do it at lunchtime and then again at the end of the day. All right, if you're blowing really dry mulch. Obviously, after tonight's weather, the mulch isn't going to be all that dry. So, you know, you're probably going to be, you know, pull it out and there's not going to be anything stuck to it.
It's too bad you guys didn't put the same design as that. The pre-filtering, you know.
Yeah, they can't because of the amount of air it needs to take in. It's a huge volume of air that needs to pull in. So you can't really put a pre-cleaner on something like that. There's limitations to what these can do.
So that's a twice a day, tap it out filter.
Yeah, again, and that's when your mulch is dusty. You know,
compost especially.
Compost, and you know, so any of the stuff that's gonna. Anytime you see floaters in the air when you dump your bucket, you're gonna know that this is gonna build up. All right. So it's just a wing nut. Pull the wing nut out. It just pops out. And again, you're not sticking an air gun in there.
Just shake it.
Or take your backpack right on the job site and blow it out with a backpack. You're just trying to get the majority of the mulch out of there. Okay, that's going to help you realize more production at the end of the hose. All right?
But there's some wing nuts. Yeah, we gotta get some extra wing nuts.
You better get some extra, figure out a way to mount this on. That'll be gone, like.
Be gone, yeah.
Is that plastic?
Normally what I do is pull the wing nut off, take the cover off, put the wing nut inside the cover, set it down, and then I blow out the filter.
That's what I do.
You know, then you're not losing the wing nut. Okay. So that's something that you want to certainly keep up on. The hydraulic fluid is here. You've got a fill here. This is also a breather. There's no reason to have to do much with the hydraulic fluid. It's a closed system, just like any hydraulic system. Unless it's leaking, you're not using it. Okay, so the fluid level is here. You're meant to be somewhere between half and full up this gauge. All right, we're about 2/3 there, I guess.
Yeah, plus it expands.
That's right, absolutely. Once things get moving. This is equipped also with a hydraulic cooler. So anytime this machine is running, that coolant fan is running. Okay, so it's keeping that hydraulic fluid cool.
That's nice.
It's not going to need to be cooled when it's this temperature out, but when it's 80, 90 degrees out.
But it has a sensor.
And you're working the machine, you know. No, it doesn't have a sensor. No? It's on all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, all the time. So if the machine's running or the key is on, as much of a key as there is, when the machine is on, that's running. Okay. So you don't have to worry about the hydraulics. I guess we can move around the back here.
How many feet do we have on this now?
150 feet of hose.
150? Okay.
Yeah, so your other one held 100 feet. This will hold all 150.
Okay.
That would be a 50-footer and a 100-footer. Okay. You do have some other grease points back here. They're all right out in the open. You know, nothing is hidden. You've got one here. You've got one here. You know, this is just for the end of your floor, same as the other side. You've got a few right here. Make sure you're hitting all those. They're very clearly marked, you know, to service weekly. A few pumps is fine.
They also should be blowing that fan out too, right? The radiator?
This radiator,
Yeah,
that really won't build up all that much. I mean, you might put some eyes on it once a week just to see if it's got any buildup,
Right.
but you probably won't see a lot of it. You've got a hose reel rewind here, okay? This is a hydraulic hose reel. So you've got a lock right here. You loosen the lock. That lock is just like your small bark blower, okay? So this locks like that, unlocks like this, all right? Obviously this is just because it's new, but you cut this off, and if it were me, rather than trying to hook onto here, okay, because this will eventually tear this by putting the bungee on here, I would drill a hole right here, okay? And you can just do one of these after it's locked obviously, okay? This makes sense.
And it freewheels.
It freewheels, yeah, to unreel it, and then when you're going to reel it up, the engine has to be running, or you can do it by hand if you wanted to. I don't know why you would. Push the button here and reel it up, and we'll fire this up and we'll get going.
Can we put more than 150? Can we put another 100 on there?
You can try. I mean, looking at it right now, it's fairly full.
No, I mean just if we kept a 100 in another vehicle, 100 feet. What's the maximum?
Will it push it?
Will it push it out?
Will it? Oh, will the
250
machine
feet.
handle?
Yeah,
Oh, the
250
machine
feet.
will handle. I mean, I've had 500 feet of
Oh,
machine.
okay.
But the volume level is going to go down. Every
Right.
little bit you get further out, you've got to start turning the
feed it.
floor down,
Yeah.
and you got to turn the air up. So technically, you go out 500 feet, but at the end of the hose, I'm getting 2 yards an hour instead of the 8 or the 10 that you can get at 100. You lose efficiency the further you go out. It's just friction.
Right.
This is the airlock system here. All right, you've got 2 safety switches here. So anytime this is open, okay, nothing in here can turn. So as soon as we open this, these are going to disengage, and I don't care how many buttons somebody push, nothing in here will turn. Okay? Danger sharp. I write that on every machine because anybody who's owned a small bark blower is not used to this knife being here. They're used to one being here. And there is one here still. Okay, we've got 2 knives. So when you guys get in here, gloves, okay, because they're going to get in here every so often to pull something out or clean clean these veins out. And if they do and they're going like this, they're going to cut their hands up pretty good. They're super sharp, all right? These blades, I don't know how much you know about what they do. They're not really designed to cut anything. What they do is they keep the tops of these clean. So as this turns in a counterclockwise motion, the blade comes close to making contact with the top of here, and it will keep the material from riding on top of here. If you allow the material to ride on top of here, because the blade is either out of adjustment or it's all chipped up or not even in there, you're going to prematurely wear the tops of these out and the shell out. And rebuilding an airlock is an expensive proposition. These airlocks were designed to last a whole lot longer than the ones in the small blowers for a few reasons. Number one, there's no more seals on the side. These are fully encased, so there's not a seal in here that needs replacement. The tops of these are built with a little bit different type of metal, and because these are longer and deeper, the actual speed, it's about less than half speed is what that's turning. Okay, so obviously half the turning means half the wear, right? And being the different metal, we figure this is about a 3,000 hour airlock versus about 800 to 1,000 with the other one. Okay? Just to give you a quick idea of what this does, this is turning this way. Okay, we're dropping mulch into here. If we get a big rock in here, what's going to happen is it's going to turn, the rock is going to bind up in between here and here. The system is going to say, whoa, that's too much hydraulic pressure. We've got to tell the floor to stop putting more mulch in here. It'll tell the floor to stop putting more mulch in here.
No jag.
It will go into reverse, right? It's called auto reverse. Goes into reverse for 1.2 seconds. It will then try to go forward to continue on its motion around. If it can't, because there's an obstruction in here, it's just going to go back and forth,
That's what the other one did.
and you're going to be at the end of the hose, and why in the hell do I
The
have
other
no
one
lunch
wound
coming?
up, made a loud noise. Not
Yeah,
big.
Well, no,
That's
that's a
what it was
different.
clogged.
That's a clogging issue.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This would
This
be
is a
if you
rock,
had a big
like the
stick
rock.
or a
Okay,
rock.
okay.
Rock
Yep.
the other day.
Yeah, it wasn't clogging the air, but it was just
Okay.
causing this to not continue to make
They
it
rush
rush
back
around.
and forth.
So if that's happening, you're going to come back here. Okay, you're going to open up your door. Again, there's no danger of opening up the door with the engine running because these safety switches are disengaged. There's nothing that can turn. Okay,
Right.
open up your door, pull out your rock. Okay.
With your
This
gloves
system,
on.
This system is not ever under pressure. All right, so if you're in here and you're trying to dig something out, you don't have to worry about the airlock letting loose and
Okay.
cutting your hand off. Okay,
That's
it's
good to
not
know.
under pressure. It's not designed like that.
What about the other day we had the rock underneath?
Yeah, because it was small.
Oh,
And
it's kinda small and it got- it ended up
and it
getting
went
under.
down. Yeah.
That's
It went
that's
through.
that's the advantage of this machine versus that machine. Okay, what happens with that machine is, let's say you get an elongated rock like this, and it comes in and it actually falls into this vein, and it fits below water level in here. and the airlock can